Don't you love it when technology bails out on you? Jeez. Yeah, I thought of doing that, but then depends on where your lamp is, and I don't want to have to struggle with reverse shots and then or angles that would be awkward. Trying to I was thinking of actually trying to thinking of getting like one of those spelunking headpiece with a light, and tweaking it so it would attach, so it would actually aim wherever I look, whenever I'm looking at the markers box or the pencil box or the reference or the art, without having to worry about it. Yes, exactly. It's on my tablet. It's on my tablet, which is activated right now. Well, I can either read from my phone or read from the tablet. That's a little bit further in front of the computer table. All right. Still need a third arm to manage all this. That would help. All right, so now I'm going to try to put some more contrast in the shadows. Good point, Steph. That's when you need that third arm. All right. Let's see if I can. Oh, what a sunny day in Wisconsin. So warm. All right. Hi. Well, it's not too bad here either, Yeah. Go figure. Right? All right, so I'm going to put this on hold for a while. Here, and I'm going to sharpen that pencil of mine so I can add some more lights. Wow, that's a very, very weird view, but I won't keep it like that too long. There we go. All right. So now, this pencil, as I said, Polychromos Faber-Castell black, references 9201-199. Those are pretty pretty cool pencils when it comes to rendering some darker and textured parts, like for example, as you see here. As you can see, it makes it a total different game, because now that this is super dark, I'm gonna have to up the contrast somehow on all the other parts. But at least you're in charge of. See now how the glasses stick out. I'm gonna have to do the same. For example, here on the R. I mean, I could do that with a black marker, but then you don't have as much subtlety in the line, because you have to switch sides, when the fine tip or the broad tip, constantly. With this one you can do both almost instantly, and you can play with the different values, the contrast in one same line. And so I'm gonna also outline a little bit darker the general line for the character. The only drawback is that you have to sharpen it almost every minute. That will also allow for a few parts that I know I will have to I'll have to go back to with a marker. I'm actually gonna have to sharpen again this pencil, because I want to do some of that makeup and the eyes. If I was to work on the frame of the glasses and not address the eyes, that would look very. That would throw everything off a little bit. I know. They're buying glasses that could work if you were aiming for something super, super realistic. But I just want to... Whenever you look at a picture, you usually focus on the eyes. Sometimes the hands. So... that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get all the attention on the character's eyes by putting more contrast. So as you can see, you can get pretty much very fine details with this kind of pencil. And also you can press really hard and it doesn't break, it doesn't get all bristly, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm actually pushing pretty hard on the tip, and it doesn't break, it doesn't make like those little crumbs that sometimes mess up a very fine area, an area you want to keep as subtle as possible. This is really good. These are really good pencils. I'm adding last minute details to all the eyes, and there you go. This is the inside of the glasses. I'm probably gonna add some highlights at some point with either a white pencil, or maybe sometimes what I do is I choose a color. I choose a color pencil, like just one color. I'm not trying to put all the colors of the rainbow, but like just trying to make it match with what the character's colors are about. Also, like for example, it wouldn't make sense for me here to use, unless I add a backdrop and it's like a night with buildings and there's a whitish blue moonlight. I would probably do highlights with a light blue pencil, like almost white chalky pencil. But other than that, I would go for either streaks of red for the hair because she's a redhead, or green, or yellow. I don't know. Maybe I'll go for yellow. We'll see. Just like kind of like a side light. Also a trick sometimes that applies to pretty much any style actually. When you are drawing something like this, you want to spend a lot of time working this area, which is the center of all the whatever is happening on the piece. You want to work this part, add more details. You want to be more emphasize the contrast and everything. And when you get to these parts, you don't have to work as much with as many contrasts and as many lines and details and folds and stuff as you did on the face, because nobody's really going to pay attention to that. They'll get an overall view of the art and an overall understanding of what's happening, but no matter what, the brain will focus on this. The eye and the brain will focus on this, maybe on this a little bit. Oh, let me show you better. Maybe on the hands a little bit, but it's going to be mostly this part that gets all the attention. All right, let's finish the details and I just realized I never got to work on that. Actually, that's a good way of seeing the difference. Huh. Is it like choppy or something? Yeah, it keeps saying that your connection is bouncing back and forth, Michaela. I don't know what's happening. I know mine dropped one time. All right. So what I was showing here was that you can tell the part that has been worked with that super dark pencil, and the part that hasn't been worked on yet. Here, see, the contrast is actually becoming a little bit more obvious and legible. So I'm gonna work this part now, the leg here. Yes, and that's why I'm actually going with another set of gray tones after I'm done with the outlining. I'm gonna compensate everywhere it needs to, pretty much. It's also about a personal choice of, do you want the image to be more like brighter in a way, or if you want to make it like super dark. And then if I wanted to do that, I would go with black and white, a brush, a regular brush, and just use the white of the paper. That's so it's all about it's a matter of decisions, what you want a piece to look like. It's a mix between what you have in mind, what you're hoping the piece is going to look like, and how the mood of the day, I want to say, is going to either enhance that or stop you in your tracks, and you won't be able to do it because it's not, I mean, you're not in the right mood, you're not getting it that day, or you're not. The focus is also a big game changer. So far. Oh, see, I totally forgot that line here, the cape. All right. Now I'm gonna finish the outlining of this cape here. Hold on. And then the leg. Okay, I'm gonna need to get that back so it holds the art. And of course, once I'm done here with the pencils and the art is pretty much done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fixative or hairspray to hold the pencil art together on the paper, because it has a base of glue, and that's the thing that keeps everything sticking to the paper and not wearing off. It also provides a coating somehow from UV, I guess. It's not the best protection though. Nothing beats specially treated glass. But it's mostly for if the art gets rubbed against something else, like another piece of art, or in a sketchbook, you want to use some airspray if you can't if you don't want to buy fixative just for that. All right, so right now that's what the piece looks like, and I think I'm going to emphasize the contrast on this part here, once again, to focus the attention on the face. Maybe put more shades under the glasses, on the face, on the knee a little bit. What I could do also, and that would be a major change, but I mean, it could be done. It would be interesting actually if I had a background, because if I just do it for the sake of doing it right now, it might look weird. I could actually pretend that this is all in the shades, and that as if there was a beam of light that was like projected on her, and then everything here would be in the shades. But then it could also, if I don't do it right, it could look like she was dipped in tar, and that her butt and her legs are kind of like dirty, and you would go like, what the heck, what is that supposed to be? So unless I change completely the composition by doing a halo here in the back, like the beam of the light being projected on her, and I put all this in the darkness, do a cast shadow in the back, and do it here on her legs. Unless I do that, if I just do it on the legs, it will look weird. I'm not sure if I want to go for that, because that means I would have to prepare a little bit more and secure that paper with some craft tape and try to do it with watercolor gray to make sure that it doesn't get wobbly. Probably also use a different paper. So I'm just gonna emphasize for now. The contrast here on those parts. Leave that part a little bit as it is right now. It's good enough. I'm gonna add some shadows, like the cast shadow of the thigh on the fabric here. Put some more contrast here in the back. A little bit more here on the top, but also here in the back. As I said, on the face, the cast shadow of the ear. That's the kind of stuff that I can add without breaking a sweat or taking any chances. And I'm gonna go progressively again because you don't want to mess up. And for example, I'm using a number 3 here just because it's dark enough. It's gonna evaporate and become slightly lighter in contrast, and if it needs to be darker, then I will go with number 4. So then I'm putting some more shading here. I can do that, and I will try to do at the same time, some of the work for the reflection for the glass, although I know I'll have to do that later with a white pen or a white pencil. You got to use all the options at hand. That's number 2 flew over there. So I'm putting a little bit more contrast. So what happens here is that with that black pencil that I used, the Faber-Castell Polychromos, whenever the alcohol from the marker gets in contact with it, it kind of smears and make it a little bit dirty, which doesn't really matter for a character like that because she's in a tough world, so to speak. She's in a tough environment. It could work as, you know, like she's rubbed against some like dirt in one of those back streets while being in a fight. It would work for a character like that. It wouldn't really matter and make the damage the image. If it was for, let's say, more angelic character that you want to keep clear, bright, and you don't want to smear with stains and stuff like that, then that would be a problem. I would certainly not be using that pencil. So right now I'm preparing with a number 3 marker, just making the area kind of like wet again for a few seconds, so I can bring a darker marker that will blend in. A little bit more. Wow, this one is really dark. I'm gonna have to just use it on a very, very limited surface like this. And then use again number 3 so I can blend a little bit more. See, this is already darker in contrast, working better. Now what I have to do also is that I have to work the rest of the art around to bring it in the matching contrast. The hair can stay like that. I might have to darken a little bit the fingers here. There you go. So all this is done with the same marker, number 3. I'm actually adding contrast. I should probably be darker here too. Here in the back. Here on the shoulder. Again, preparing those areas for a darker color. There you go. I can probably try that a little bit here too, and then immediately come back with a little bit more of that 3 again to blend it. There we go. Now I see that these parts are still a little bit too bright. Maybe I should darken those a little bit more. And now I'm going to bring it back progressively, keeping the white highlights on the fabric, but it's kind of like keeping the values of a color. That's very important actually. See, if I remember well, this is supposed to be a red piece of fabric. This is supposed to be green or yellow. I think it's green and the cape is yellow. So as far as gray tones are concerned, you want to make sure that the eye and the brain of the viewer understands that this is a different color of fabric than this one. So I'm putting a little bit more contrast in this one to separate it from this one, which is, as we all know, is a different color now. Red, green, red, green. Now, those little attachments here are yellow, and that's the thing. This yellow and this green right now have the same value in color. You have that white, you have a percentage of white here and here. That tells you that these could be the exact same color if you were to shift the image in full colors. So I'm going to have to keep those white, same with the color, as much as I can. Light colors for whatever part is in the shades. And for these now, I have to find an intermediate color tone with the grays. Level of grays that are going to make it look different from this whole part, which is tagged as red now. And make everybody understand that this is a different color, and find just the right amount of gray and the right level of gray so that it doesn't look too similar to that. And that's actually something that applies to every image you're working on. I'm going to focus on the glove right now while I'm talking. To know if the image you're working on when you're doing colors works and is legible and every part that needs to be seen is seen, a good test is to turn it into, make a copy, turn it in gray tones on your computer, or take a photo and turn it in gray tones, and see if you can still see all the elements that you wanted to show. Make sure that they're still showing, that they're still legible. If they're not, if one part of the drawing blends with the other, then you've been doing something wrong. If that's the part that you wanted to show. If, for example, that edge of the glove had the same tones and contrast and percentage of light and darkness, and it would blend in to the point where you wouldn't be able to tell where it starts and where it ends, then you've been doing something wrong. You have to start again, or try to enhance a part, make it darker, or if you can, make it lighter with pencils, with like white pencils or bright colored pencils. But a good test to see if your contrasts are working is Yeah, turning your image into a gray tone version or a black and white version of it. See, this part needs to be darker. I'm just preparing the area right now. Uh-oh, this one is running out of ink. Gonna have to do a refill soon. Here we go. And so yeah, I'm gonna put some more contrast here. So at this point, see on the screen, it looks like this sticks out now because I put a darker color in the back. I can emphasize that by putting highlights with a white pencil, which is probably what I'm going to do. The only problem I have is that on the original it doesn't look to have as much contrast. So I'm just going to go progressively improving on that. Maybe off screen when I'm done here with the session. I'll show the final result on Instagram anyway, and on Facebook and on DeviantArt, but I'm gonna add some texture as if the cape had folds. And yeah, this one is really dying. I need to so some last minute details just to add some texture to the cape. So it looks darker now, but it's going to evaporate down the line. And I'm going to add some contrast here on the knee and on the overall on the leg, which actually should have a cast shadow of that boot somehow. Maybe I should emphasize that one too. There we go. Now we get a more dramatic rendering, and I kind of like the fact that this shadow is not just plastered on the body, but I still want to make it a little bit darker. We'll see if just putting another layer of number 2 does the trick, although it's in the fresh now that I've used number 2. I'm gonna use number 3 to make sure it gets dark enough. And then the next step is gonna be, I think we're ready now for some highlights with a pen. See how the shadow on the knee is darker now? Of course, it has all the alcohol, so it's gonna come a little bit brighter when it dries out. There's a huge stop here that I'm gonna fix right away. Try to blend it a little bit more by just putting some number 2. There you go. I might have to. Yeah, there you go. Oops, sorry. I was not aiming at the right. Yeah. Voila. Oh, as a special request, I promised someone I would be speaking with a French thick accent, so that it proves that I'm a real French. So yes, I can do that on demand. And see, I told you I would do it, and now you can hear the French accent, like you were expecting. I heard it makes the voice very sexy. I don't think so, but whatever. So for the end of the session, I will keep on talking like that, just to live up to the miss of the, yeah, right. Yeah. No matter how bad they are, right? Chicks dig French guys. That's an urban myth. Anyway, I will resume speaking like the French normally do, because it's not the French educational system that is responsible, or the English teachers that we have. It's just a matter of commitment, and the French are not really good at understanding how it is a mark of respect to actually try to speak the language with making an effort, a consistent effort to speak right. Not to mention that since the French know now that chicks dig French guys, of course they play along, right? Oh my god, this is hurting my ears. My ears are bleeding right now. Jeez. I can only do that for so long. Alright, now I'm gonna put some highlights. Enough of that nonsense. I will add some highlights with a white thin marker. Okay, so the best marker you can find around here for this is actually the Signo from Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi pencil, the Signo Pigment Ink UM153 white. This is the one that has the best. Yeah, I think they make everything. They make toasters, they make cars, they make, yeah, of course. Well, those companies are like huge. Like, you have no idea. Well, they also make, I think they make some sound systems and stuff like that. So yeah, they're everywhere. Blow dryers, whatever has a motor. Thank you, NivBen0001. So yeah, this is the best covering when it works. I mean, when it's full, and that's the only drawback. When you look at the pen, you can't really tell if it's full or if it's running out, and it dries out pretty fast. It's a ball pen. It's a ball pen. You gotta make sure that you have enough ink in it. It usually helps to do. It usually covers, and of course, it's not gonna prove my point right now. Oh, come on. Trying to clean the lens a little bit, maybe. Yeah, this is blurry. This is super blurry. I don't know how you guys can see anything. Well, I guess it'll show more efficiently on the final art. So you just put like a few highlights in the areas where usually shiny nose. My model friends are people who get on TV, will know what I'm talking about. You want to try to avoid the shiny nose, shiny forehead. All right, so you either resort to those pens or pencils. There's a very good line of pencils, white pencils. Let me see. I've never used that one. That could prove interesting. So, some sharpening is in. Okay, so this one is one of the. This one is one of the best for the highlighting. This one is another Faber-Castell pencil. Art grip. I guess it says art grip because it has all those little dots on the pen that gives you a good grip to it. So, like I'm gonna do a few streaks of like logs of hair, maybe, to add more details. Sometimes you want to highlight a piece because you want to give it some volume. You want to add some texture to the. You want to add some texture to the parts that are already in the light. See, for them. Here you go. You want to redesign a part that has smeared a little bit, like this. You want to redefine a shadow, make it sharper. This is something you can use it for. You want to do a light in the shadow area. This is what you use it for also. Like for example here, although at this point I would try, maybe not. If the paper was slightly tainted, like either a sandy color or a gray paper, gray tonal paper, I would probably use a yellow, lightly yellow pencil or a blue one to do some highlights in the shadows here, which suggests that it's actually very tricky, but this knee, as you can see, this leg has a light, a rim light here on the edge. That is the light from the cape reverberating on the leg, on the part of the leg that you don't see here. So this light, the light is shot from the bottom. It hits the cape, bounces back on the leg, which actually bounces back in the shadow area here. And that's why you have a lighter area here in the middle of that cast shadow. This is what helps create the volume and suggests that things are on a different plane. This part is in front of that. That actually helps everything. So it's good to put rim lights to give volume to a character or whatever object you're drawing. It's better to do it for the right reason and not just for the sake of, oh yeah, I'm going to put it here because it makes it shiny, makes it even better, cooler, whatever. No, you can always get away with, some gratuitous effects like, oh yeah, I'm going to put a rim light here on the edge because then it's going to suggest the volume. And it's something that's coming from outside, and since we don't have any background, you don't know what it is, but it looks cool. You can still do that. Don't do it everywhere because you're gonna make your drawing look like too shiny, too metallic, too unreal. And every once in a while, just do it because it has purpose. It serves defining the model, the volume, I mean, but also it makes sense because it's realistic. The light is coming from here, bouncing on the cape, hitting this side of the leg that you don't see, putting some light, faint light on it that reverberates and kind of casts a light in the shades on this area of the costume. This is one of the things that you learn from observation. All right, now there's something I want to do, but I would have to open my can of white ink because I want to put a really strong reflective white streak over those glasses to make it actually look like glasses. Right now, it's just a frame. She might as well not have any glass of any sort. So the only way I can achieve that is by using white paint, white ink, that has a high covering ability. And I will make like one of those streaks of light, of course, not right in the middle of the eye because that would kill the purpose of trying to catch the expression. I'm gonna have to resort to that tripod for a while. Put my phone here, resting on it. Sorry guys about the hectic movements. But I'm gonna put it here so that I can actually stir the ink in the jar. Let you take a look at the art the best way I can. And I'm gonna stir that. Oh, shoot. That is dried out and okay. So now to have fun with this. At this point, because it's a commission, it's some try to keep the art as refined as possible, but sometimes I'm not saying being a little bit messy, but you don't have to have like the finest of brushes to do the highlights. You don't have to. It's sometimes when you have a brush that has a few extra hair that are going the wrong way, but that can be actually doing some good. You get accidents, and those accidents are happy accidents, and they just help the thing being more organic. See, I'm gonna have to move a little bit away from it. So I'm using white paint to suggest reflection of a light. And then because to me those glasses are plastic, they also should have a high reflection ability, so I just put like a few spots of highlight. I'm actually also gonna do that on the R. Not that it really needs it, but see, for example, the belt is a metallic belt. It needs it. There you go. There you go. Oh, and also because I was a little bit too yeah, I'm gonna put some highlights on the makeup. There you go. I'm gonna try to put some light here on the nose because what I did with the pen was weird. It actually made a dark spot somehow. This is... Oh, and I'm going to put some highlights on the eyes too. Now I got a stray hair that shouldn't be here. And I'm gonna have to cut it because I want to do a perfect spot right now on the eyes, and I can't have that getting in the way. There we go. All right. So now I'm gonna get some more ink. The bridge of the nose. What do you mean darken the bridge of the nose? Because it might blend with the glasses. it might blend with the glasses a little bit too much, and then it would look like it would be a part for people who don't know the character, or either way actually. For people who don't know the character, it would look weird and they would think it's part of the mask. For people who know the character, they would go like, that is not how it should look. There you go. So yeah, I'm putting it slightly on the side so it doesn't really damage the integrity of the face. There you go. I'm gonna add a white streak here over here in the darker. And voila, it is completed. Oh, wait. I spoke too soon. Now this looks like it could use a little shadow just to suggest that there's like a variation in volume, maybe around the calf, just a little bit like that. There you go. So this is projecting its shadow on them. All right. Oh, yeah, those two spots here I need to address. I don't know how this happened. That was during the first session, but I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the white ink is still out, and I'm going to cover that. There you go. Right now with the light, of course, it looks a little bit darker, but it's going to get fixed. All right. And this is Dark Knight's Carrie, Robin, and it is done. Thank you for following, guys, and there'll be more stuff in the weeks to come. I might do a session. Let me tease a little bit, because you know the French, they like to tease. They like to surrender too, but they like to tease. All right, so working on some Rocketeer pages for a short story, so that might be something that I will show you a little bit more of next time I'm working. And then let's see what I have in store again that I could show. Oh yeah, well, I'll be doing more of these, obviously. I'll be doing more of these. Well, I'm drawing a short story. I'm drawing a short story right now, and then we'll see what else I can do with that. Perspective books, huh? It's a very tricky question, because nowadays, I mean, my generation got away with drawing everything awkward and following rules that were really tedious and complicated and not fun to apply to drawings. So we were cheating with the laws of physics and perspective and stuff. And nowadays you have softwares, cheap softwares or even free softwares that help you build a grid and help you build a quick layout for your buildings, so you can apply those and draw your perspective for whatever building or whatever objects you want to draw. This said, if you really want to learn, if you really want to practice, if you really want to know what you're talking about, you got to learn by yourself. Well, drawing in perspective, then what I would recommend is the Andrew Loomis book. Well, yeah, foreshortening and stuff is really tricky. Let me see. There's a book called Figure Drawing by Andrew Loomis, and that is, yeah, that's the one to go to. That is the one to go to. This is the one that will explain everything in the simplest way, the more efficient way, And of course, don't get disappointed or distracted by the fact that it's a very classic representation of the human figure. Yeah, Andrew Loomis, exactly. Just get past the fact that it's very classical in presentation. Sometimes you have to go to the basics and just pay attention to the words and the explanation, and look at the example and try to project your own style or whoever's work you like, and say, okay, I can see where he's getting that from. And it's usually, most of the time, it's from that book. It's from that book. Yeah, this is the best. There's one for heads and features of the face that are... There's another book for that from the same guy. And this is actually equally good. So yeah, those are the two books I would recommend. So here's something I'm working. This is the next page I'm working on. I might show some elements of that in the weeks to come. Actually, next week I'll be working on it for sure. So that is something that you might be interested in. It's mostly going to be inks though, because the pencils will be done this weekend. And that, thank you. So that, my friends, conclude the session today with a little bit of gray tone works. Oh yeah. Those Deja Thoris. I haven't drawn any of those in a while. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it a day, get back to coloring that Betty page with the rocket that I started last night, and I will share with you soon. Thank you for following. Make sure you keep track of the next one on Instagram or on my Facebook page. Thank you guys. Bye.